Oh, hello there. Yes, Friday at last. Cold and damp today. What a brilliant combination that is for a cyclist like me. Yesterday, I sort of stirred up a bit of a hornet's nest, I think, because I put a comment on on one of the defund of the BBC tweets because they were expressing outrage that a BBC journalist had asked Boris Johnson a question about domestic things whilst he was in Ukraine. Boo hiss, how unpatriotic, etc. And a lot of people sort of came back at me insisting most vehemently that Defund the BBC is a totally legitimate organisation that just happens to get an awful lot of media attention from certain right-wing media outlets. It's definitely crowdfunded. There's no two ways about it. But one of the people picked up on an Express piece, which was obviously having the BBC, because they do. And bear with me here, because it doesn't have a lot of commas in it. I'm going to go with it. This reporter isn't crowdfunded. He has a Joe Public to pay his wages. Does he serve the public or those that employ him and their agenda, whilst they continue chase us through the courts for our money for something we may choose not to pay for? Indeed. And basically what this person is saying is that the Express journalist has to rely on the public paying him his money. And I'd like to vehemently disagree with that. If you have a look at newspaper circulation figures, they are falling through the floor. The only people that buy newspapers, physical paper newspapers, are people my age and above, okay? And I'm getting close to 60 already. All right, and if we look at, for example, Daily Express, a month-on-month change, -1. This is like the latest monthly figures, by the way. For the year, they are down 11%. Now, that's to do with their readership dying. The Daily Express is owned by the Mirror Group, and the Mirror Group is suffering a huge hemorrhaging of money because people don't buy newspapers anymore. So, whilst it is generally true, if you like, that the Express person what wrote that article is paid for by Joe Public, it's only a percentage of his wages in real terms. It might be her, I'm sorry. So, where exactly is this money coming from? It's because if you look back in time, the newspapers, when COVID hit back in early 2020, were facing decimation. And because advertisers didn't want to advertise with them, all this bad news about death on the front pages, etc. And they were effectively bailed out by our current government, who simply made up the shortfall by putting COVID adverts in, which they've continued to do. And for a lot of newspapers on the list here, you can see there's no Sun, etc. They don't print circulation figures because they're so bad. The vast majority of newspapers are effectively zombie publications. They don't make any money at all because the advertising revenue simply isn't there, because the readership isn't there, and it's dying. So where's the money coming from? Well, partially, yes, it's coming from the money, but effectively for most of these organisations, if you look at leaving out the Mail, which is still reasonably healthy, leaving out the Guardian, which is still reasonably healthy, you end up with these newspapers that are being published, which make vast losses. So why are they still being published? Well, they're being published because the people that own them want to make sure that their particular worldview is the one that you see. It's an agenda. And they don't like the BBC because the BBC doesn't have to play that game. And therefore, they can tar them with the, "Ooh, they're not patriotic" brushed, can't they? But I don't like people telling me that certain organisations have an agenda and other ones don't, because I don't trust a billionaire backer of the Conservative Party to tell me the truth. End of story. Yes, anyway, there we are. That's Friday's thought. I'm wrong. Please leave a comment, tell me how wrong I am. I'm always wrong. I'm a teacher, I'm always wrong, and I pass on that wrongness to the young people in my charge. Probably through CRT or something, I don't know. Anyway, have a lovely Friday. I have to work this weekend, and that's made me feel horrible, to be quite honest. I've got to go out in the rain. Have a lovely Friday.